See, I didn't really feel like talking about the Note 9 because in my videos at least, I'm trying not necessarily to just be kind of like a highlight reel of everything that happened at one time. What I like doing in my videos is elaborating on things because it allows me to really dive in deep on a subject, and with the Note 9, I just have nothing to elaborate on. We all know what it's gonna be. Snapdragon 845, new fingerprint reader placement, stereo speakers, cringy Animoji. Alright, we get it, Samsung. Why does there need to be an event? But more recently, we've got a couple more things that are confirmed. Confirmed. Basically, like, once again, Samsung saying, oh no, a picture leaked. Samsung, no one's leaking your pictures. No one cares what's coming out. You're releasing these things yourself. We all know it. But more reports have leaked for what's coming out at the Samsung hardware event, and it is no longer just about the Note 9 and the urine yellow S Pen. So now we can talk about a lot of the things coming out in August at Samsung Unpacked. And first up is a $300 smart Bixby speaker. Yeah, Apple was late to the smart speaker game, right? Yes, they were. I'm pointing that out. That's not me disagreeing with that. My point is, you thought Apple was late to that game. Look at Samsung. They're pushing it even further. What confuses me about this even more is that Samsung, you should be copying the products that are selling well, not the ones that are flopping. Even Apple enthusiasts like me are very, very confused by the HomePod, the limitations of its connectivity, the price point. It's very loud and it sounds very good, but not that many people, even huge fans of Apple, cannot justify that $350 price point. $300, I guess, is a little better, but doesn't really make it okay. Google Home Max doesn't look to be selling very well either, and it seems that when you're entering the smart speaker game, what's most likely the best thing to do is to make the cheapest one possible. The best-selling smart speakers are things like the Echo Dot, the Google Home Mini, maybe the regular Amazon Echo, but again, all of these things are under $200 because smart assistants simply are not worth that much to people. And the problem with Samsung entering the game this late with the Bixby smart speaker is everyone who wants a smart speaker basically already has one. We're already comparing Home Max versus HomePod, which are both very expensive, very loud speakers, but they're not selling very well. They make up less than 10% of the smart speaker market, and Samsung trying to start their smart speaker ecosystem with a $300 one, I just think is a bad idea. It's too high still. Apple really needs to enter the game with a smart speaker under $200 if they expect it to actually sell well, because right now, I like my HomePods. I have 3 of them. I use them every day and I enjoy them, but they're absolutely a love letter to just hardcore Apple fans out there. They're really only for people who are in the ecosystem. If you're not a diehard Apple fan, it's useless, and even if you are a diehard Apple fan, I totally understand your point of view if you say, I don't really need one, because you really don't. It's not changing the game in any way. So that's why I'm confused by the Bixby smart speaker. Not to mention, I haven't had great experiences with Bixby. I tried to use it a lot on my S9 Plus, and I had a horrible time. I didn't like it at all. So putting that into a speaker, I'm sure is not going to be good, but Siri's not that great either, though at least the HomePod sounds good. I imagine the Samsung smart speaker is probably going to look very similar to a HomePod, and I'm sure it's super, super louder and waterproof. But we're now getting some reports that a Galaxy Watch may be coming out, and that's literally what they're going to be calling it at this event as well. No more Gear S3. It's not going to be called the Gear S4. They're rebranding everything, and this one's also rumored to be running Wear OS. Sorry, 1/3 of all Android Wear watches were connected to iPhones, so they said, this is stupid. Let's call it Wear OS. That way it's not tied exclusively to Android anymore. But based on the leaked images of the Galaxy Watch, as they're so far calling it, it looks like nothing's changing. It just looks round again. 2 buttons on the side, rotating bezel. Because, Samsung, if your product's broken, just keep selling it broken. Maybe they'll try a couple of different things with this year's smartwatch, hoping to change the game by partnering with Google with now Wear OS. And by the way, I think this is the first Wear OS device to come out in like the last year. I haven't seen anyone anywhere trying to make or review or buy Android Wear watches, new ones that have yet to come out. It's been a dead market, but I gotta give credit, Samsung of all companies is likely the business that could bring back an Apple Watch competitor, a real one. But I wish they would have done something different. Like, I love their curve technology on Galaxy phones because it's kind of unique. Even if it distorts your image a little bit, it's a signature trademark of something they do. I wish they would do something like that with the Galaxy Watch. Imagine a curved display all the way around that circular watch. That design element may be able to convince people to stop buying Apple Watches, especially if this thing runs Wear OS, then that would mean you could pair it with an iPhone. That's a pretty good competing product. But it looks like it's going to be very similar in design, and keep in mind this will be competing alongside alongside the Apple Watch Series 4. So Galaxy Watch, I'm anticipating to be a flop as well. There's also a couple of reports of Samsung making a dual wireless charger. We're seeing the packaging leaked already. It's like Samsung just ripping the flex tape right off those pipes saying, oops, it leaked. Oh no, what happened? Is anyone searching for this? Okay, 2 wireless chargers next to each other, which before you go out and say this is Samsung beating Apple to AirPower can charge 3 devices, not 2. And also we're not exactly sure if the Galaxy Watch will have Qi supported technology so that you could drop the watch on this dual Qi charger. I'm not sure if that's possible or if they've come up with technology that can do that. But even if they did, it is still not the same given that AirPower is supposedly going to charge AirPods, watch, and phone all at the same time. That's why this is a new product for Samsung, a dual Qi charger, but it is not the same thing. AirPower is its own thing. It may or may not come out. It may or may not exist for all we know. But before you go comparing the two, just keep in mind they are very different products. But now, coming in closure to the Note 9, like a lot of people are saying, it is most likely going to be one of the last Note phones in the series because sales for it are not that great. And honestly, I can tell you right now, excitement for it is very hard to keep up. What are you looking forward to? Stereo speakers? Well, don't be looking forward to the price point because apparently we've got some leaks already saying that there will be 2 storage configurations, 128 gig and half terabyte 512, and I hopefully assume expandable storage. But if these rumors turn out to be true, it sounds like the Note 9 is going to be starting at minimum $950 in the US and possibly up to $1,200 in the US. Overall, though, reports are saying that the Note 9 is not going to be a cheaper phone. This is bad news for Samsung in many ways. In fact, I don't even think these rumors are true. I think the Note 9 is going to cost the same as the Note 8, even if that means Samsung takes a hit because before they were cheaper than the iPhone 10. They were competing with the 5.8-inch iPhone 10. This thing was $1,000. The Note 8 was $930. So it was just under the price of this. That gave them a little bit of a leg up and it still didn't sell great. But now that Note 9 is going to be competing alongside the 3 new iPhones, which one of them oriented at being more affordable. So we've got the $700 iPhone 9 and Note 9, all the 9s coming out. And keep in mind the revamped 5.8-inch iPhone 10 will likely be starting at $900 now. So this version that already outsold the Note 8 will now be cheaper than the Note 9. And also there will be an iPhone 10 Plus, so Apple will finally have another bezel-less smartphone in the Plus model game. And when the Note 9 is going to be competing with 3 iPhones, one that's really cheap, one that it already competed with, except it's now cheaper than the Note phone is, and then another $1,000 Plus model iPhone 10 Plus. I know you stylus fans are out there. I know you are passionate about keeping a stylus with the phone, but sadly, you're just not buying too many of them because Samsung's looking at the numbers, and for the Note line, it's not looking very good. I think it's actually okay to simplify the lineup. Samsung already sells like 19 different versions of the same phone. J series, A series. I know they're all slightly different. They're all slightly cheaper. Active series phones and stuff like that. I think it would make more sense for them to focus more purely on the Galaxy S10, which, based on some concepts we've seen from Venya Geskin on Twitter, could actually be a super cycle for Samsung. Given the S8 was a big update, S9 was very minor. S10 might end up having less bezels all the way around the screen, involving potentially a curved edge on all 4 sides, not just 2. If that happens, I think a lot more people would be interested in that. If Samsung, you feel bad about canceling the Note line, sell the stylus separately or include it with a Plus model. I don't care, but there's not enough people to keep the Note line alive, sadly. So the Note 9 is very likely the last in its family, and we might not ever see a Galaxy Note 10. And then stylus will sadly die, and not long after that, likely the Samsung branded headphone jack. Because we believe in giving users an option. Well, actually, it's okay now. We're okay with removing it. It's fine. Who actually wants that, right? We waited around for Bluetooth technology to get better. And then they'll release Bixby AirPods, Samsung Pods, Galaxy Pods. That's what it'll be. Instead of Pixel Buds and AirPods, we'll have Galaxy Pods, and they'll look very similar to AirPods, except better battery life and better waterproofing. Anyway, what do you guys think of the Samsung event coming up? I'm personally not excited at all, but obviously very curious to see how all this hardware plays out. It doesn't look good for Samsung, but I'm at least excited that at the event, real, actual other stuff besides just stereo speakers will be coming out. Let me know all that good stuff in the comments below. This is your Apple Sheep here, and I will see you in the next one.